All right, welcome back to another, tech stream. I'm glad to see everybody in the building. Yeah, you already know I'm this Josh from KeepItTechie, and today I have another special guest that I want to interview. You know what I'm saying? And the reason I do these streams, you guys know that uh, I try to do them every other week or so, just to try to bring other people into the live streams and interview them just so other people can get knowledge. They could bring their expertise, their experience on working in the IT field. And today's guest, I have he's he has a lot of experience, and I'm happy to have him. As soon as I hit him up, in the email, he responded right away and was like, "Hey, I would, definitely like to come on and share my experience and everything." But today I have Ted Jordan, and good to see you, Ted Jordan. How you doing?
Hey, doing well. Good to meet you. Keeping
Yeah,
it techie. And
yeah,
hello to
definitely.
your audience.
Yep. I'm glad to have him. You know what I'm saying, and just bring some experience and other it's good to hear it from other people. You know what I'm saying? I'm not, I don't know everything. I've only been in the tech field for a while, for a certain amount of time, and things change. You know what I'm saying? And it's good to hear other people's perspective on getting into the IT field. So um let's go on and start off by letting you introduce yourself, Mr. Jordan, and also how you got into the IT field, if you don't mind me
Sure,
asking.
sure, Josh. No trouble at all. I started out I was really loved technology when I was a kid. And my mom loved me, but she hated that I destroyed everything, taking everything apart because I wanted to know how things worked. And I'm still that guy today, frankly. My dishwasher's half apart and I'm trying to repair that. So, but it's interesting looking at what's inside and seeing how it works. I went originally into mechanical engineering, and then after uh, graduating with my bachelor's degree, I went to a school in Flint, Michigan, called General Motors Institute at the time. Now it's called Kettering. And if anyone's young in their career, if they know someone that's in high school and they're looking for a way to get a pretty well a free education, I would definitely take a look at Kettering in Flint, Michigan, because you go to school for 5 years, and out of that 5 years, 2.5 of those years is putting you to work. So you can actually get paid while you're going to school. It's a very interesting concept. They've been doing it now for 80 years, and it worked out really well for me. I was employed when I graduated and left employment to get my master's degree. I came back, continued working for General Motors, but while I was getting my graduate degree at in California, the University of California, Berkeley, I was really getting very interested about computers. They're definitely well into computers there, and that's when I was introduced into Unix, which most of you know is the foundation language of Linux. So the when I went back to General Motors, I was doing a lot of Unix work over there as well, and C programming. And I saw where things were growing. General Motors at the time bought out EDS, Electronic Data Systems. They partnered with them. Ross Perot was the president of Electronic Data Systems then, EDS. And I don't know if a lot of you know who Ross Perot is, but he was kind of like the Trump in the 80s. He tried to run for president and so on.
Oh yeah, I know.
But from there, I got my master's degree and went on to work back at General Motors and doing with Unix, Linux, and computer programming.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's cool, man. You the first person I met that actually went to UC Berkeley, and I've always
Oh
heard
yeah,
about it, you know. That's a
very tough
great school.
school.
Yeah.
Very tough. It was. It was. I'm originally from Detroit, Michigan. So I went out west. I wanted to see what life was out on the West Coast in California, and I went to school at the same time. And it was really tough because, you know, it's pretty well flat in Detroit. But in California, I was riding my bike, getting to and from the campus to campuses all the way uphill and hitting mountains. And I think by the time I left California, I think I went there weighing 200 pounds. By the time I left, I was 120. I'm only kidding, by the way. But it really worked me out over there. So
Oh yeah, yeah.
I met
Hey,
a
I
lot of
know
good
the
people
feeling.
too.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know the feeling because I I recently, well, a couple of about 2 years ago, I took a job out there, and
Okay.
I was staying with family, well, down in San Diego, and so I would ride my bike a lot, and
Yeah,
man, it's it's fun, man. It's fun,
you're
and
right.
yeah, you lose a lot of weight.
Yeah, you will. Boy, it's the weather's pretty well almost is always great
Hmm.
versus being Detroit. I'm not the I've seen guys ride their bikes in the wintertime, but I'm not that guy. I'm once it gets below 50 degrees, my bike goes in.
Yeah.
But at least in California, is able to ride around pretty well year round. So
Okay. Yeah. So let me ask you this.
oh,
So,
I
huh?
I did join a couple startups after General Motors. A
Okay.
startup called Silicon Graphics, and another one called Fake Space, which was virtual reality company.
Hmm.
And both of those really helped me get into my startup that I started up in 2000.
Okay.
And but I sold two companies, and now I'm pretty well out of business. I'm out of all the startups and that kind of thing, unless I don't plan to lead one. Let's put it this way. It's just too much work. But um, if I'm willing to be on boards or work with startups in an advisory capacity or as a partner. But I would it would but not as a leader. It requires, I'm almost 65 now, so it requires just a lot of activity and energy that I don't have anymore. So yeah.
I definitely got you. I definitely understand, and well, see, I've always been the type of person that prefer to be in the, I guess, the background, so to speak, like one of the, cogs in the wheel, so to speak.
Yeah. Yep.
you know. So that's always been, I guess, my mindset. I've never been the type of person to want to create something, I guess a company or lead a company.
Okay.
Even though it's I'm starting to come around to it because I'm actually uh working on my own current startup. So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
I don't recommend it for everyone. And
Hmm.
everyone should not start a business, just
Yeah.
like frankly everyone shouldn't get married, I believe. But even though I've been married 35 years.
Hmm.
But the um it's really hard work, and if you really like technology, do that. That's all you need to do. But if you're really huge into finance and accounting, you like working with people a lot, nothing wrong with starting a business. But yeah, go in with your eyes open.
Hmm.
Mhm.
I got you. Yeah. Now, um, let me ask you this, and it kind of goes into um I guess the main theme of the interview is, if someone is trying to get into the IT field, where
Okay.
do you think they should start?
Now, there's so many ways to do it.
Hmm.
Now, in um, when I worked at General Motors got the Wall Street Journal newspaper every day, and there was an article in there that I read about how to get what's the best way to get a job.
Hmm.
And they said 10% of people get their jobs from ads. Another 10% get their jobs from um, uh, just walking around. 80% get their jobs from people that they know. And I think it's the same way with learning how to get into the industry as well. Really, you really need to network a lot uh, and make friends and really get friends that that are already in businesses that are willing to vouch for you. I think that's a big way to get in. Now, for me, I guess I was kind of lucky. I went into mechanical engineering, and like I said, I went to graduate school at Berkeley, and I saw what was going on back there, and kind of they kind of spoke about the future a little bit. And that's what got me interested. So then I worked on a master's project, and I got to know some of the professors there really well, and they were able to help me get positioned for jobs at Silicon Graphics, at General Motors, and other places. So I think the best way to get in is really get out there. It's really hard. Most techie people aren't the kind of people that want to talk to people a lot and get out there and shake hands and we really well, can't do or fist bump, I guess, these
Yeah.
days, COVID. Um, but the yeah, I would say the best way really though is frankly to get to know a lot of folks. Now with online, I, I I think today online it's a little bit easier to meet people. Is that correct from what you're seeing out there?
Yeah, yeah. It's actually opening up um I don't know, more avenues of actually meeting people. Like for instance, just being here on YouTube, I've met so many people in the IT field. It's unimaginable that I probably never would have met, if I hadn't been on here. So yeah, that's definitely opening it up a lot.
Now, have you heard of the Black Data Processors Association?
No, I haven't. Let me go check it
They
out.
were really, really instrumental in helping me find opportunities. And I've been a member, I think, 40 years now.
Okay.
um, and when I started my business, they were really instrumental in helping me get my business afloat as well. They were really, they made a huge investment um, in my company. And I was able to, definitely get that paid back to them. But
Okay.
they are the Black Data Processors Association is an organization that you want to look at because I know that I've been there. Recruiters come there with positions. They're members that have special tech groups that go into some of the fields that are important today. Um, what have you heard about DevOps?
A lot. I'm currently using it in my job, so or have to follow that methodology.
Which two are you using? Azure, Amazon Cloud? What are you using?
They're actually not using cloud currently.
Okay,
Because I'm on I work on a DoD contract,
okay.
and a lot of the servers are on prem. So
Okay. Okay. All right. All right. All right. But they're still following the concepts.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, sir.
And for those that don't know what on-prem means, it's on premises for those for the,
Yeah.
for the newbies out there, um, which is the opposite of being on the cloud. But the um, I would say, I was on one of the groups. I read the Reddit groups a lot, and I see a lot of folks are looking to get certified in A plus, um, and I think that's a really good certification. But I think today you really want to start looking at DevOps. They for the last 2 or 3 years, companies have been coming to me asking me what do I know about it. I don't know enough about it yet. It's so new, right? Um, so I took a class last week or 2 weeks ago so I can learn more about the field.
Hmm.
So and I'm looking to get certified in some of the DevOps as well. So it's really and again, going to classes can help open up doors. Now, most of the classes are online today, but I know I teach now, I do a lot of teaching,
Okay.
and I hear uh, when I'm teaching, a lot of folks get job offers right inside of classes because they can see that just by the questions those students are asking, it can really help open up some doors for you. So I would definitely look at taking classes, whether it's a training class or whether you're getting a degree. Even if you're getting a bachelor's or master's degree, I'd recommend even taking classes in these areas. Um, I know that A plus, which is basically a hardware certification
Mm-hmm.
offered by a group called CompTIA, CompTIA. I know that their certification, this hardware certification, can help you get jobs at Best Buy and other locations, but I would really start looking at DevOps if for most people out there. I think that's really where the world is going.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And let me ask you this, so I don't forget it. Have you heard of the Scale Agile framework? Have you
I have,
okay, okay, because
but I haven't heard so much in with that in programming. I mean, I kind of hear more. Well, okay, yes, I've heard of it with programming in
mm-hmm,
that it's a philosophy to follow.
mm-hmm.
But um, tell me, what? How do you see it? How do you see it as a fit for programmers?
It's just a way to, I don't know, um scale down the amount of people working on something so you can, I guess, push it out because they have um daily stand-ups. It's really just uh and it's
I
it's
heard
kind of
that
hard for me to explain it.
a big part of their philosophy is called fail fast.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
way, if we have a good idea, we'll make it grow.
Hmm.
But if you fail, we find out quickly, and that way we shouldn't need to keep working on that anymore. Let's go a different direction.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's part of
I
the
think that's an
philosophy.
excellent philosophy. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I see it should be used in business as well. I know folks that stay in businesses too long, and it's like, if it's not making money, do
Hmm.
something else. There's a million things you can do out there. You don't have to focus on one and keep pushing more time and saying we can do it. And it's like ideas fail every day.
Hmm.
Just as long as you keep your eyes open to what can go, pay attention to that.
Okay, cool. And one quick thing, shout out to Gabe. Good to see you in the building. I appreciate the super chat. And he's a fellow engineer as well.
Oh
I
yeah.
believe, yeah. He
Okay.
and now he's in cybersecurity. So I interviewed him a while back, but I need to get him to
Yeah.
yeah, get y'all to link up and everything, because he's a great guy, man. He puts out a lot of great information helping people get into cybersecurity and all that stuff. So,
That's exactly. I think it sounds like he and I are going through a similar path
hmm.
because I started mechanical engineer, then I got into programming, and then people asked, "Can I?" So I teach. Well, all right. Let me slow down a little bit. So I wrote. I wrote this book on Linux, and um, this was with McGraw Hill, and I teach people to get prepared for the Linux Plus exam.
Hmm.
And then they ask me, well, can I teach cybersecurity? And so there's an exam out there called the CISSP,
Yes.
and which is one of the major cybersecurity exams out there. And there's another one called Security Plus.
Hmm.
And I read and studied up on that. I teach those as well. And now I'm writing a book to pass the CISSP exam.
Okay.
And so, yeah, it's like you want to, um, these skills can go so many different directions after you get this foundation of learning how to program and work with operating systems and even how to build computers. Once you get that foundation laid out, you can be in you can be in a situation where you're never unemployed.
Hmm.
You're never unemployed. There's always a direction for you to go. So if I don't see programming getting slower, but if programming slows down, you can go in the security area. And
Hmm.
again, I don't see security ever going down, but if that goes down, you can go into hardware repair. So there's so many different directions that you can go, and you'll always be employed.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. And that's one thing I try to tell people. And then especially when you get in the security area, a lot of times um, you need to have all the basic understanding in order to protect it. You know what I'm saying? Or
Exactly right.
protect all the applications that are being built or, the systems that are being set up. you got to have a foundation of how that works in order to get a better understanding of how to protect it. So I
Yep.
definitely agree with you on that. And there was one thing you said earlier that I didn't want to gloss over, or I didn't want to miss. I wanted to go back to it a little bit, but you stated 80% of uh, of the way people get jobs is networking, and I 100% agree with you, man. Um, if That's how I've gotten pretty much all my jobs,
Yep.
has been through a network.
Yep.
So that is very important, and I'm glad you hit on that. And I wanted to just highlight it again, just to, you know, just for the people that's, watching and listening, they may be trying to get in. That network is very important. So
It's very important. Very
yeah.
important. Yeah, I got the first job was because my dad was connected with someone at GMI where I went to college, so
Hmm.
he actually helped open that door to get me in college. And then after that, I was working at GM, General Motors, and then someone at Silicon Graphics that I knew said, "Hey, we need some help over here to do some programming." So I ended up getting a job at Silicon Graphics. I worked there for almost 8 or 10 years, and then um, I contact said, "Hey, we got a startup going on, and we need your talent." So I joined FakeSpace for about 2 years. So it's definitely been, every now and then I'll go ahead and I'll go ahead and put my name out on different, and I'll look up different jobs on Indeed.com and LinkedIn and other Munster and other sites. Uh, and I've never been successful in getting work that way. Never. I don't know.
Hmm.
Maybe others are different, but I've never been able to get a job that way.
Yeah. Uh, but yeah, that network is like very important. Oh, and also, I want to ask you, um, well, I asked that a little later when we talk about degrees, but let me ask you this: how do you keep your technology skills, kind of current? Um, is there a way that you study, or is there a way that you, um, I don't know, do continued education some kind of way? Like, what are some recommendations?
Yeah, I uh, one of the items I do, and I see a person ask a question about the CISSP, and we can get back to that later on as well. But um, one of the um, ways is taking classes. I probably take a training class. I probably take two a year, 5 day classes that go from 8 to 5. Um, like I said, I just took the one on Azure and
Mhm.
AWS on cloud services, on continuing integration and development. The other way is I do read a lot. I'll go ahead and I'll read books on Linux, and I'll read books on CISSP and security. Uh, I also will go to a website. Let me see if I can find it here, called Bright Talks, BRIGHT, brighttalks.com and brighttalk.com. And that site keeps me current on what's going on, definitely with programming and security and new concepts and new concepts like zero trust and what that means, and learning more about the different attacks that are going on. I'm trying to think of the name of the router. Silk,
Um,
uh, the routers that were attacked at the federal government,
ooh, I don't
the
know.
switches. But
Cisco routers?
it wasn't Cisco.
Was it Cisco?
But the Russians are attacking routers. They just found out, But anyway, I watch these Bright Talks and I learn more about that those ways. There's also there are different there are cybersecurity podcasts I listen to about once a week,
Okay.
and um, none other names stick out. So I just find them and I learn. I'll learn a lot through there. So classes, books, podcasts, and and yeah, I do look for books on cybersecurity and read those as well. SolarWind, thank you.
SolarWind,
That's the
yeah.
one.
That popped up in my head. I wasn't sure.
Yep, yep.
Okay.
So, um, but reading, frankly, I do read a lot, though. I read a lot on cybersecurity, not so much the magazines, a few websites, but I'll go ahead and buy books on the topics. About once a quarter, I get a book on a different topic, and I'll read about it just so I can be more up to. It just helps me be a better instructor.
Hmm.
So,
So basically, what you're saying is you can't be lazy in this field. You got to
nope.
constantly
Yep.
learn. Yeah.
You got to constantly be on top of it. And I learned that when I was at Sun Microsystems, and my manager, he was like saying to, he wanted to get some more books on this topic, that topic, just so they can. Back then, we were just learning about Java, so he wanted to get books on Java and JavaScript just so he knew more about it. And um, you listen to what your customers are reading and find out what they're doing, and find out what they're doing, and then you just get books on that so you can be up to speed. When they say that we're almost like doctors and lawyers, right? They say you practice medicine. This is also you practice cybersecurity. You have to always stay on top of it.
Hmm. Yeah, and that kind of reminds me of what I've been trying to learn lately. Um, you brought up AWS, and I work as a database administrator, and so um, big data is coming. You know what I'm saying?
Oh
Like
yeah,
it's
it's
a lot
here.
of yeah, a lot of data science positions and all that stuff. So one of the things I've been trying to pick up on is DynamoDB. I don't know if you've heard of it, but yeah,
No.
that's one of the, I guess, NoSQL style databases that are, it's not a traditional relational database. It's what they call kind of like NoSQL, or it uses a lot of forms. And so I've been, slowly getting into it, because just like you said, if you don't, you know, read and stay on top of these different companies on the technology that they're starting to use, or they're starting to come out with, then you get left behind. You quickly get left behind. So
That's right.
yeah, I agree.
Got to stay on top of it. Someone asked about which podcast I listen to. What I do is I just search for cybersecurity. I can't say there is a show that I really like. I apologize for that.
Hmm.
Um, and now, someone asked about the CISSP as well. And just
Go
it
ahead.
ends up being that's the federal government is looking for people that have passed the CISSP exam. If you're looking for a job with the federal government, military, that's the one.
Hmm.
So that's why it's really important. That one will really help open doors. If you, yes, the experience matters. Yes, having the degree matters, but um, I know of guys out there that have the experience and a degree, but they can't get the job because they don't have the CISSP certification.
Hmm.
So it's just another requirement these days. These certifications are another requirement.
Yeah,
I wish I
definitely.
knew more about databases. I was trying. I had a company called. There's a Google startup coming out there that's doing big data. I'm going to see if I can find it here, and they're hiring right now. And if I can find it, I'll let you guys know where, because they want people as soon as possible.
Okay.
So just give me a second,
Yeah, no
and
problem.
if I can't find it, I'll go ahead and we'll. Uh,
Well, while you do that, let me give a couple shout outs. It's good to see you
sure.
guys in the building. Maddox, let me just go down the list and try to catch everybody. Um, let's see. Gray Fox, I seen in here. What's going on, man? Good to see you. Fire Snake, you were the first one here. I appreciate you being here, man. How you doing? Zakaba, Ted, Moik, and sorry for messing up people's name, but um I don't mean no harm by it. And 6942069, good to see you. I've seen you in the chat a bunch of times. Good to see you, man. Um and Pearson Cybersecurity, good to see you. Professor Black Ops, always good to see you, man. Um Yep. But yeah,
Yeah, cool. And
cool, cool.
hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us this weekend. I know the weather out here, this first day of spring, the weather out here is not too bad. I'm in Wisconsin, by the way, for those that are wondering, Milwaukee, near Milwaukee. And it's almost 60 degrees. We haven't seen 60 degrees in a long time. So I'm happy to, very happy about this weather. All right. Yeah, I'm sorry I can't find this company, but
Ah, no problem.
yeah, they are definitely. What I'll try to do is look for this later on
Mm-hmm.
and email it to you. You can let your listeners know. Does that sound
Okay.
good?
Yeah, sounds good. Sounds good. And yeah, sorry about that that mistake I said earlier. Thanks for correcting me, Professor Black Ops. Yeah, it's different from Dynamo DB is different from NoSQL. Yeah, cuz NoSQL is its own application as well that manages data. Dynamo DB is slightly different. So, yeah, thanks for correcting me. Appreciate it. Um so, next thing, big question. You brought up degrees, certifications, how important certifications are. Well, I typically ask this question, to get, you know, just to get your feedback on it. But degrees, certifications, or both? What do you recommend? And I know
Oh,
you kind of answered it. I
yeah,
just wanted
that's a tough one.
to.
My nephew, who's about 22 years old, he's going to be graduating with his engineering degree here soon, and
Congratulations. Yeah.
yeah, and
Yeah.
he's got friends in his ear saying, "Skip the degree, just get certified,
Hmm.
and go get right into work." And the I guess my I guess, and this is what I tell him: yes, yes, you can get a job with a certification, and yes, you'll hear those stories. But yes, people also win the lottery every
Hmm.
day. People win the lottery. So, um, so point being, for the average person, if they aren't lucky enough to win the lottery, or get that certification, and someone's waiting there for them to get to open that door for them, the average person would need to get a degree, and and what that does is, especially the advantage of going to college, is it gives you a chance. I mean, there are people. I graduated college 35 years ago, and I still network with some of those folks today,
Hmm.
in undergrad and graduate school. So the in fact, one of my college buddies is now a day trader, and
Hmm.
he gives me tips every day on what to get into. It really just helps. Like we mentioned networking before, really helps you build that network.
Hmm.
And what's nice about going to college is they get to know you when you're young, when you made all those mistakes, when you were silly, when you were acting a fool. So, and you get to know them as well. So, so for me, my recommendation: at least get a bachelor's degree, or an associate's. Get an associate's or a bachelor's, or a bachelor's, just to build that network. And then um, they're going to make you get certifications anyway. So
Hmm.
there's so many. When I go out and teach my classes, frankly, 90% of the students are getting certified because it's a requirement from their job.
Hmm.
So, and they already have their bachelor's. I've got folks in the classes with PhDs,
Wow.
and they still are requiring them to get the certification. Yeah, I know,
Yeah.
right? They already know it forward and backwards. They've already been working with it for 20 years in a lot of cases, and but still they're requiring it. So, um, um, hey, I was 25 once. I was always looking for shortcuts. See, there's got to be a better way. I always heard the story about the 30-year-old millionaire. I want to be that guy, but um, you know, yes, that happens. But I
Hmm.
think you got to really, like I said, you're going to be learning all the time anyway.
Hmm.
Why not just get the degree, get the certifications, get the experience? You're going to have to do it all anyway. So
Okay.
that's my 2 cents.
Cool. Cool. Cool.
What are
Yeah.
what are they saying in the chat group? Let me see what they any comments on that.
Yeah, no comments at the
Nothing,
moment on
nothing so
that.
far. Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Nah, but I agree with you. Like, and then some of, well, I work in, I think I told you I work in government contracting, and a lot of those contracts, they require those certifications, just like what you were saying. So,
Yep,
um, and then some of them do require you to have a certain level of education. So
yep.
it's best to kind of try to work on both or go down both roads. You know what I'm saying?
Now, since I've hold so many certifications, and I mainly hold them because I got to teach them. So
Mm-hmm.
they make you get them so you can teach them. That's generally, if you see a person with a lot of certifications, they're probably an instructor, or their job made them get them.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing I have learned that has really helped me, uh, because I got to get so many of them, is learning how to take tests.
Yeah.
So I would say that uh, 20% of the exam is having the knowledge, 80% is knowing how to take a test, knowing the little tricks that they use.
Mm-hmm.
When I do my training classes, 80% is knowledge, 20% is teaching the tricks. Um, and it's 80% knowledge because that's our job. But frankly, taking the exam is really about 20% knowing, 80% really knowing. Um, a lot of the exams are not going to have an all of the above option.
Mm-hmm.
So what you're going to have to do is recognize what all of above looks like. Let me see if I can think of a question here. Let me think of an example. You might get a question on the exam that says, "Oh, which of these, uh, which of these flowers? No, okay. Which of these give off a scent? All
Mm-hmm.
right. Which of these give off a scent? You might have A, rose. You might have B, um, dandelion.
Mm-hmm.
You might have C, carnation, and D might say flower. And so you're thinking A, B, and C, those all give off scents.
Mm-hmm.
Well, D, you're saying, but a flower gives off scent. Well, A, B, and C are flowers. So the exam's not going to say all of the above. They're going to give you some concept that means all of the
All of
above.
the above.
A
Okay.
flower, a
Mm-hmm.
flower gives off a scent. So because A, B, and C are all flowers. So you
Mm-hmm.
gotta these little tips and tricks you gotta watch out for inside the exam. I would say that's helped me a lot more than so definitely knowing the concepts, but understanding because what's really tough, you got to put yourself in the position of the exam writer.
Mm-hmm.
They're really trying to separate the wheat from the chaff. They're doing all looking for that precise knowledge that that individual knows that makes them the right person. And coming up with the right exam to do that is really hard. It's really hard to come up with those kinds of questions. So they would not say they're being tricky, but it appears tricky because they're really trying to separate those guys out.
Mm-hmm.
Because 90% of the people that sit for the exam really know the stuff.
Yeah.
So, but they want to know this. It's like um, it's like the Hall of Fame. There are a lot of people that are really good that are not in the Hall of Fame,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what these exams are. They're looking for that Hall of Fame person that So when you pass that CISSP, when you pass that Security Plus, when you pass the A Plus, when you pass the AWS exams, and so on, and the Azure exams. Um, and in our case, we're doing Linux.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure if anyone's getting the Red Hat certifications out there, but they're looking for those people that are in the Hall of Fame that really know their stuff, not only forwards but backwards. And because when people sit for the exam, I had a guy sit in for one of the exams for Sun Computers, and
Mm-hmm.
he'd been working on them for 20 years. Did a great job every day. Could not pass the exam because the exam's going to ask about, like, number one, it's going to be tricky,
Mhm.
and it's also going to ask about items, the kind of work you don't do every day.
Yeah.
Like, how, when you download software, where should you get the software from? Well, not most of us find a way to get our software, and we just go to that site. Well, but for the exam, they want you to get it a special way.
Mhm.
Um, so I would say definitely, you want to get books when, if you're trying to take a practice exam. Rather, if you're getting ready for an exam, look for a book that has a lot of questions in it.
Mhm.
That's going to be more of what you want, so you can get those practice questions. That'll get you more prepared than just reading about the topic.
Mhm.
You really want a lot of practice questions.
Yeah. Definitely. I definitely agree with you because you know, just seeing what the questions are like on the test, that has actually helped me in the past. Now, I didn't do it in a book, but I I went and took a lot of the online um, mock certifications.
Yeah.
You know,
Yep.
that kind of basically does exactly what you're saying, prepares you for how to actually take the exam versus the
Yeah.
information. Exactly.
Now, every now and then, a student will come into my class with some practice exams that they found online,
Hmm.
and 90% of those, most of them are good. Now, you know what? I better flip that around. Most of them are bad. Most of them are bad. I remember where a student came to me with an exam that he found. I don't know if he got off eBay or where he got it, but um, he said, he showed me the question, and I said, that's the wrong answer. But it says here that's what, and I said, no, that's not the right answer. And then he showed me another one. I was like, that's not the right answer.
Hmm.
So when you get some of the practice exams, just make sure you double check the answers.
Yeah.
Don't accept them willy nilly. Just use the practice exam as a way to make sure that they got the right answer,
Yeah. Exactly.
because you really don't know where they're getting them from. I'd say a lot of them I see out there have a lot of wrong answers, so just be careful.
Yeah. Exactly. I agree. Now, um, since
Oh,
I
Quizlet.
oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
That's one site I go to for questions. Quizlet.com.
And you should be able to
Um,
drop the link if you want to. Uh,
okay,
I was trying to find it.
and it. But again, my warnings goes with Quizlet as well. A lot of wrong answers,
Hmm.
but at least it gives you exams. It gives you questions. You get a feel for the exam, and then check it.
Yeah.
And you checking those answers helps you even better prepare for the exam.
Hmm. Now, let me ask you this right fast. Have you ever been, I don't know, invited to um, like CompTIA's, I guess, and
To
I'm
create an
just
exam,
finding out about it. Yeah, yeah, to create an exam or come up with the
yeah,
concepts. Uh, How was that or whatever, or was that? And I don't know what
um,
all you could say, you know.
yeah.
So I don't know.
No, I was invited, and but I've never accepted because the requirements were, if you were a trainer, we can't use you.
Oh, okay,
So
I got you.
so that's why I've never done it.
Okay.
They want people that don't train for a living. I think they're afraid we're going to teach to the test. And I get it. I get it.
Hmm.
You want to keep the exam secure.
Yeah.
And if people are teaching to the test, they're not learning the concepts.
Hmm.
So I understand what they're doing. So yeah.
Got you. Got you. Got you. Now, since my channel is all about Linux and all that,
Hmm.
so how important do you think it is knowing Linux when it comes to getting into the IT field? Or
It's becoming more and more important every day. The government is using it. You're finding, and DevOps is definitely a big part of DevOps.
hmm.
I'd be curious from your listeners, if any of them's using Linux, what do they think about CentOS and this change that they're having to CentOS? Um, if you if anyone's heard about it. If you haven't heard about it,
Yeah.
uh, most of you know may know that CentOS is a free open source operating system. It's the exact same operating system as Red Hat.
Mm-hmm.
But IBM has said now they're going to make CentOS. Now it's no longer going to be the exact same operating system as Red Hat anymore.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, they're going to add items to CentOS, and it's going to be different than Red Hat.
Yeah.
So using it in your company is going to be a little bit more difficult.
Yeah.
So what so people want that this is a big deal because IBM bought out CentOS
Mm-hmm.
and they want to make this big change. So what are I guess what comments I guess I wanted to see what people's thought were on that. I know, yeah.
I know it. Isn't it CentOS Stream or something that they
Correct. They've come up
changing
with
it to?
CentOS Stream now,
Yeah.
which is going to be they're going to have additional items in CentOS,
Mm-hmm.
so it won't be they'll actually going to put experimental software in it.
Yeah. It's a rolling
So
release
right,
now. Yeah.
right. So and when you're running an enterprise, you don't want experimental stuff, and
Not
you've
at
got
all.
10,000 users. If that machine goes down, that's 10,000 times $40 an hour that those people get. So that's cost you a lot of money. So I'm wondering, people. I know a lot of folks are thinking to go with Oracle.
Mm-hmm.
Oracle has a solution that's going to be exact same as Red Hat, and I heard of a couple other solutions out there.
I also heard that Red Hat is going to be releasing a. Aren't they going to be releasing a? I don't know, a free version or a community edition? Have you heard that? Is that
I
true? I
know
thought
there's
I read that
Fedora.
somewhere.
I better check. Maybe they got too much flack about this CentOS Stream thing,
Yeah.
but I know there's.
I think it's a response to that. And I'm sorry to cut you off. Go ahead.
Okay, that's fine. Nope. Yeah. Yeah. The um, that's very interesting though. That's I tell you, you got to really. I don't know. So yeah, I'm just trying to figure out because people don't trust Oracle as much. Is Oracle going to switch up? But Oracle's saying they're not going to switch up. So they're going to keep it as Red Hat.
Hmm.
Um, but I'll have to look into the Red Hat see what Red Hat did in response to that.
Yeah.
So
I thought I remember seeing an article. I don't know if it was because I was actually planning on doing kind of like a news update video. Sometimes I'll stream and I'll do news and I try to pick out articles, and I thought I remember seeing that Red Hat was going to release something pretty
okay,
soon, or it is, or they coming out with a community edition, something like that.
okay,
Yeah, in response to this.
all right, good. Because I know they've already have Fedora.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're
Fedora.
doing CentOS Stream. Fedora, you do not want to use in the enterprise either because it's experimental. CentOS
Mm-hmm.
Stream, now you can't anymore because it's experimental. So I think it was I think Red Hat was trying to get people to start buying Red Hat. And I think a lot of customers out there are going to be like, "What? We were using this for free."
Yeah.
So yeah, that's terrible.
Do you think Ubuntu may start
Could be a
picking up
replacement.
more? Yeah.
Um, either Ubuntu. I was wondering more about SUSE
Mm-hmm.
because SUSE is definitely uh, SUSE's more so based in the U.S. Most of the support for Ubuntu comes out of South Africa,
Okay. Yeah.
and so um I'm but I'm not really, I want to know more. I guess I'd like to hear
Mm-hmm.
more what companies are doing. You
Okay.
know,
Because I
yeah.
remember a while back, Microsoft, like, I think they invested heavily into Ubuntu. Um,
Oh, okay.
yeah, they became or they got on the board. You know, it's all depending on how much you, I guess, donate or something to
Yeah,
help.
yeah.
I guess they can give their input to make decisions on. security and all that stuff, or just the overall operating system itself and the way Canonical is going, the direction Canonical is going. So,
Okay.
you know,
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Do you have a lot of Kali users out there? You guys using it for penetration testing and hacking?
yeah, yeah, it's a couple of security guys in the chat. Yeah, they definitely,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
I've had a chance to use that with some of my penetration testing work. They have a
Mm,
lot of tools on it. I mean, most of those tools are still available on other systems, but I like the way Kali is really built
mm-hmm.
to hide yourself
Yeah.
and hide what you're doing. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Super cool. Now, one of the, I guess, last questions I typically ask, um, programming languages. Do you recommend any programming language that people should, get into or learn?
I would say JavaScript seems to really be a huge one today.
Mm,
And so if you don't know, I would say definitely JavaScript, definitely Python. I would start with Python, it's a little bit easier.
yeah.
And then I would go with JavaScript as next. I like Python because it's an interpreted language. So if you're not really familiar with computers, it's a really good start. And then if you are familiar, as you get more familiar with that, I just go with the JavaScript. JavaScript and JavaScript type languages are used to create smartphone apps.
Hmm.
So if you learn JavaScript, it can open a lot of doors for you.
Okay. Yeah.
So
I
well,
definitely agree though. Oh,
I need
go
to
ahead.
ask what smartphone people are using. Are they using Samsung or are they using iPhone?
Yeah. What are you guys using out there? Yeah.
I
And what?
hear iPhone is more secure,
Mm,
but Samsung's got some security features in it as well. So
yeah. Now let me ask you this: do you like Apple products? Do you use Apple products, or do you like Android?
if you look in my basement, where I'm talking from now, by the way, I've got everything down here: Windows, Android, Linux. I got a Samsung phone.
Hmm.
I've got iPhones. Why? Because I gotta, frankly, know it all. I've got
Yeah.
to know it all. But the phone I use for day-to-day use is a Samsung, the Note 10 Plus.
Okay.
Yep. And but I do a lot of my writing on Windows. I do a lot of video recording on Mac. I got a little bit of everything around here.
Cool. Cool. Yep.
Yep.
So yeah, total geek like me.
Yep.
Yeah.
And my wife wants me to throw some of this stuff away, and I'm like, "Why? We got the space for it." So,
Hmm. Yeah. Now, last thing, what are your thoughts on the technological advances, and how do you think it will impact the IT field in the future? Because I know things they're really pushing for automation. Really,
correct.
yeah.
Automation, AI is really huge these days. Um, the Yeah, this is an exciting time to be young, and because there are just so many areas of computers that I kind of wish I were 20 years old again so I could get into this AI field, this machine learning.
Hmm.
The when I did graduate school, my minor was robotics, and it's just gone on. It's on steroids now, and we watch BattleBots every weekend. So uh, but with artificial intelligence coming on, and really wondering if we're going to get to those points where we have to really worry about things like the Matrix, or what these movies are talking about, and
Hmm.
machines becoming uh, self-aware. This is really a great time to be alive and be a part of that. That's what I would, if I would be learning programming. I would start with programming
Hmm.
so I could get into AI or DevOps. But for me, I'd be excited about AI. So yep.
Cool, cool,
Which I
cool.
was in Costa Rica on a vacation last year, and in Costa Rica they call it IA, right?
Okay.
intelligence. on- So above is because of the way the language is. So,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
but that's what I'd be getting into.
Cool. Yeah, definitely. And so the last thing I like to do is to allow people to ask questions
Sure,
for
I got time.
okay, cool, cool. Um so if anybody has any questions um for Mr. Jordan, go on and write them in the chat and he'll answer. And also, do you have anything that you want to, I don't know, promote or put out there um for to help people, or just if people interested in what you do and they want to get in contact with you, is anything you want to put out there?
Oh yeah, the my YouTube page where I go over Linux questions and Jordan Team Learn. It's in the box. If you go to youtube.com/Jordan Team Learn, and then you'll find I've got there. I go through exam questions for the Linux Plus, and soon I'll be putting cybersecurity questions on there. I'm not. I don't record as often as Josh here. I, 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 one day I want to record and get something up every day, but right now, unfortunately, it's about once a month. But it's really bad. I'm really bad. But definitely, when you get there, like and subscribe to the channel, and that's also my Twitter page as well, where I do promote when I add those videos. But that would be a great place to learn more and get prepared for the Linux exam and the cybersecurity exams. And let's see, what's in my workstation. What have I got? This one's got an Intel CPU, and I just upgraded to a terabyte of disk. But I don't have a lot of memory. I think I got 16 gigs of RAM on this one. This machine is uh, like 6 or 7 years old,
Hmm.
and I just keep updating it. One of my USB ports went out, so I went ahead and bought a host bus adapter and plugged in my USB-C, and now I get it's it just keeps going on and on. So I'm
Yeah.
using a Dell on this one. Usually, I like my laptops are usually Dells or HPs. Those are the only ones I find that seem to that don't break on me
Yeah.
after 4 or 5 years. I'm not really gentle. I'm not really gentle with them.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I typically, oh, I don't know, ride or use a laptop until it completely dies.
Yep, yep,
And
yep.
I'll just
Exactly right.
upgrade, as
Yep,
much as I can, or put a new disk drive in and just keep it rolling, man, until
yep.
yeah.
See,
Now,
someone's asked about the CISA exam and the Pen Test Plus.
mhm,
Um, I think those are good, but I'm not seeing a lot of companies ask for that. Those are similar to the Pen Test Plus is similar to the Certified Ethical Hacker. A lot of companies are asking for Certified Ethical Hacker, and the CISA Plus, they're trying to compete with the CISSP with that
mm,
one, with the CISA Plus and the CASP. But right now, I see more companies are really just looking at the CISSP as being the gold standard.
okay. Yeah, and I've actually seen it in a lot of job postings. You can just go to LinkedIn and
Yeah,
type in CISSP and you'll see
you'll
a
see it.
whole
Boom,
lot
boom,
of,
boom, boom,
yeah,
boom, boom. Yeah, that's kind of the gold standard.
requirements. Yeah.
Yep.
Now, it was another question um that someone asked, Maddox. He asked, how much of your income do you use to reinvest back into yourself?
Ooh, that's a good question. um, that's a good question. Let me think of a. I'd probably say it'd be income wise. I guess I have to include my time as well because that class did cost me some jobs. 5%, 5%.
Yeah.
is what I would of my income goes back into reinvesting in myself. Reading, or, buying books,
Mhm.
sitting for classes, um, and watching Bright Talks. The uh, joining, like I said, I mentioned the Black Data Processors. I'm also a member of ISACA and ISC Squared. And with those, they have a lot of meetings. And so I try to get to, once COVID starts to calm down in the next year or so, probably, I try to get to at least one good convention a year.
Okay.
And so it ends up being about 5%.
Yeah, and I hadn't got into conventions yet, and then I was just about to start doing it. I started seeing
Yeah.
a lot of conventions in San Diego when I was down there, living down there, and
Yeah.
I was just about to start getting into it. I saw a OR programming kind of like convention or training thing
Yep.
that I was gonna go to. It was like a week long or something. But then this whole pandemic happened and
Yep.
but yeah.
Yeah. They're doing them online now.
Hmm.
I had planned to attend one, and because it was online, frankly, that's part of what's going there does. It keeps you off your computer, and just my computer just kept me busy doing something else, so I didn't even attend. And even though I'd
Hmm.
applied for it, spent the money for it, so the but I know when I visited conventions in the past, one that I used to go to a lot was every year was SIGGRAPH, um, which is out of IEEE,
Hmm.
and that one was a really good one when I was doing virtual reality, and I'd meet people that I could potentially hire. I Job opportunities came out of that one. Um, if you can give a paper, and that really gives you some visibility. So I really look at conventions a lot. But
Cool.
yep.
Cool. Now let me ask you this. Are you a NIST guy? NIST? I don't know what that is. I think it has
It's
something to do with cybersecurity.
Yeah, and they're similar to IEEE, and they're similar to ISO, where they develop standards for a plethora of activities. NIST has a set of standards. For example, one of their standards is for cybersecurity,
Hmm.
and I haven't been to any of their conferences, but most of what we teach in CISSP and Security Plus and Certified Ethical Hacker comes out of standards created by NIST.
Okay, yeah.
So yeah, strong passwords,
Hmm.
uh, don't use default logins and passwords, close ports that are open to attack like Telnet and FTP and so on. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, yeah. So that kind of ties into I don't know, or are they the people that create the standards for like STIGs? Uh,
Yes,
okay, yeah,
exactly.
okay.
And I don't know if your audience knows what STIGs are, but just what are they're government requirements, right?
Mm-hmm.
STIGs,
Yeah,
government. I can't even remember what it stands for.
yeah. Me neither, but I know
Yeah.
I've been through one, um, locking down
Yep.
databases, pretty much.
Yep.
So,
STIGs are based off of the NIST standards. Yep.
okay, got you, got you.
So,
So it looks like that's the last question. I don't want to hold you too long. You know what
all
I'm saying?
right.
I definitely appreciate you, coming through to do this. This was a great discussion. Um, you know what I'm saying? You gave my audience, a lot of good information. Anybody that watches the playback, I put all the links throughout as Mr. Jordan was talking. I tried to put as many links as I could on things that he put out there and the gems that he dropped. You know what I'm saying? So I
I
definitely,
appreciate this time.
yeah, yeah, no problem, no problem. And go check out his channel. I was trying to find it. Let me
Okay. Let me do youtube.com/Jordan Team Learn. That link should take you right there.
Okay. Okay, yeah, yeah. Okay. Let me see. Yeah, yeah, there we go. There we go. So yeah, you guys go check out his channel if you're interested in, learning Linux. And I've watched like one or two of your videos trying to prepare for the interview. But
Cool.
I definitely subscribed and everything. So I recommend you guys subscribe because he does go through the information, he's very thorough with the information that he puts out. So with the questions and all that stuff. Oh, go ahead.
Yes, not only question and answer, but I explain why the answer is the answer.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yep.
Yep.
And most of the questions come out of my book right here with McGraw-Hill. You can find this at Amazon. So
Yeah, and I went and looked up your book too, man. Yeah, yeah, that's cool, man. Like, and I kind of I don't know how did I'm trying to remember how did I find out about you? It was either Twitter. I was just going through Twitter
okay,
and or no, I know what it was. I was looking for some new Linux books that I wanted to order, and I always look at the authors. That's
okay,
just like a habit when I'm on Amazon. I'll just click on look at the author, and I saw that name, and I was like, it looks familiar. And then I went and looked on some kind of way. I ended up on Twitter, and I found your Twitter
all right.
page as well. I was like, oh man, another black guy that loves Linux.
We're
So
rare, aren't we? Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So I was
Most
like,
of them
man.
love Microsoft. We got to do Microsoft this, Microsoft that. Yep.
Hmm. Yep. So, man, I subscribed right away, and then I think it was when I first emailed you. It was like 11 o'clock at night or 12, almost 12 midnight when I first emailed you. I was like, oh man, I gotta get him on. I gotta get him on. But nah, I definitely appreciate you doing this again. Um, and um, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please hit the like button, and all that good stuff. Try to get this, video out or these types of interviews out to more people so we can get more people in the IT field because I think it's, something that can help my community as well as other communities, because STEM is the next big thing, science, technology, engineering,
Thing.
mathematics. That's where
Yep. That's
everything
where
is
it's at.
headed. Yep. Yep. So thank you,
So
Mr.
I'll
Jordan
definitely
again.
subscribe back and thank you for the time.
Oh yeah, no problem. No problem.
And you guys keep it techie out there.
Keep it take. Yeah, and can you stay on Terra for a second? You can stay
Sure.
on the thing. Okay, I'm about